Hello, happy day after Earth Day. I'm here in this beautiful setting because I thought it would be fitting for this video and for my channel in general. So yesterday was the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, which is crazy to think about. You know, even 50 years ago, people had the consideration that maybe we're not treating the Earth the way we're supposed to, and I think that, you know, it's kind of, you think of it as this recent movement, you know, the kind of the whole climate change, Greta Thunberg type of led movement, and you think that's, you know, that idea is very, you know, antiquated, and so, not that it's bad, but that it's been around for a long time, and, you know, we kind of weren't paying attention to it before. But, you know, these days we're more connected than ever online, especially with this pandemic. You know, a lot of us, we don't have human interaction, and so we have to make those interactions online. And so I think now is time more than ever to get connected with those across the globe about, you know, climate change and the way that we're treating the environment. But basically this video is kind of like talking about some things I want to talk about, as well as a video that I recently watched. So less than an hour ago, I finished watching the short film 50 Minutes to Save the World, I think it's called, but I'll have the link down below so you can check that out. But this video was basically about coral reefs and the situation of coral reefs and the way they are right now, and that, you know, we haven't been treating them well, that they had drastically changed from the way they used to be even 10 years ago. And it kind of starts off in this dystopian manner with this man in 2050 and kind of having to go outside and wear the oxygen mask, and Hawaii's just completely changed to, like I said, this dystopian place that, you know, if you want to ride the waves, if there are any, it'll have to be in a full suit, and you have to kind of take your pills before you go outside, and it's toxic, and people are having trouble breathing, and I don't think that's, you know, not that it's unrealistic, I think that it is realistic if we continue the way that we're living right now. And so, yeah, so I'd just like to talk about my thoughts on that video and just some things about the Earth in general. So I felt like the video was very well made, or the film I should say, because it is quite long. I sped it up a little bit because I have a lot of stuff to do, but I think that definitely put aside some time to watch the full thing. I think that it's very well put together. It has facts, it has kind of opinion as well, and they go around the world, or this main guy, he goes around the world and he talks to people about, you know, people that have been connected with restoration of the reef and stuff like that, and the challenges they're going through and the changes that they're seeing within the coral reef. And I was actually very surprised because I'm in Belize right now, I live in Belize, and they had a little feature in the movie because we have the second largest barrier reef in the world, and I think that's very important, and that's one thing that we as Belizeans, or a lot of Belizeans, you know, worry about, because that's something that makes us unique, that plays a key part in our tourism industry, which is, you know, the biggest industry in the country in terms of the economy. And so I think that this video was definitely highlighting some issues that need to be given attention. And so I think that, you know, we really have to look over the actions that we are currently doing. You know, in the video they mentioned some of the things you can do in terms of, you know, supporting more sustainable companies, not using plastic, such as not using plastic bags when you go to the store, bringing your own bag, about, you know, being active and knowing this and sharing it. I think that's very important as well, as they mentioned, because, you know, we're just killing the reefs and we're killing the world in general, and it's not going in a good place with the current trends. The reefs are dying, and they provide us with so much oxygen and life, and like I said, you know, a lot of countries depend on tourism, but the thing is, we have to treat them well. We have to treat them well, we as locals and we as tourists. When we go to other countries, you know, like they mentioned in the video, the type of sunscreen we wear, the activities that we're doing under the water, you know, see, don't touch type of thing. So I think we have to look at that. And like I said, some of these things are just the main points that were in the video, but like I said, I'll include the link here so you can go watch the video yourself. Like I said, it's very well made, and I think that'll should be given attention. And this video was originally shared, or originally exposed to me, by Albatross. They make reusable metal shavers, and I'll probably include a link for them below as well. And I mentioned them in an earlier video about some of the zero waste or low waste products that I use, and I'm on their email list, so they sent it and they shared the video, and they said, you know, it's great to watch, maybe have a watch party or something like that. I think that's a very good idea, so maybe you can do that with some of your friends. I've shared it with some of my friends for sure. And so I think that we have a lot of responsibility as humans living on this earth. And, you know, there most likely is life on other planets, but, you know, how advanced we are as a society is crazy. And we can easily go in a very good place and keep this world running and safe and clean and beautiful, or we could go in a bad place where we have droughts and we have rain spells and we have tsunamis and we have all these natural disasters. And you see with all these pandemics and epidemics coming out, you see with all these fires and all these natural disasters. One of my calls with my classmates the other day on one of our distance learning classes, you know, so many people had some type of warning in their area, earthquake warning, hurricane warning, and I was just thinking, man, that's crazy. Like, in the past few years there have been so many fires and diseases and other natural disasters, and it's been crazy compared to what the world used to be like. Not to say that it was, you know, all rainbows and sunshine so many years ago, but, you know, these days it's just the rate of these things is growing exponentially, and I think that we really have to pay attention to what the effect of our actions are. And a lot of people, I feel like when I try to share, you know, the word about how we can be more environmentally friendly, or that we have to pay attention to this because, you know, it really affects our future, I think a lot of people think, you know, oh, you know, I have to put convenience first, or I'm just one person, or we're just one family, you know, we can't really make a difference. But the thing is, millions of people are saying that, millions of families are saying that, and so that collective million is just damaging the environment. Not millions, but a lot of us are really damaging the environment without knowing it. And looking back on my past, when I was younger, I was very wasteful. You know, I would go and I would buy clothes from fast fashion companies without thinking about it. I would bring those clothes home in a plastic bag without really thinking about it. The foods I ate, I didn't really pay much attention to that. The things I was buying, I was just so wasteful looking back at it. And I think why was I this way? And it was because, you know, society never told me to be another way. I didn't learn in school about climate change or about the way that our actions affect the environment. You kind of think, oh, pick up trash, but you don't think, try to not generate that trash, you know? And I think that we have to, you know, I always say, don't deal with the problem, solve the problem. And I think a lot of things that we're taught, you know, deal with the problem. Like I said, you know, picking up trash and learning about pollution. I'm like, okay, let's try to not do that pollution. And, you know, it's in everyday things as well that we're just contributing to the Earth's, you know, downfall, I guess you could say. You know, and we can look in our daily lives and think, what things can we change? There's almost, I would say, to everything there's an eco-friendly alternative. And although, you know, it might not be as convenient, a lot of these things are convenient, and a lot of these things even can save you money. There's some eco-friendly swaps that I've made that have saved me money. There's some that have costed a little more in initial cost, but will pay back for themselves in the long run. And so I think we really need to look at our lives and think, what can we change? And so, you know, today when you go into the kitchen, think, you know, do we really need these Ziploc bags? Can we get some reusable ones, or can we just stop using them or reuse them? You know, as soon as they're used, wash them out, hang them up, and use them again. You know, think in your fridge, is it a bunch of stuff that's wrapped in plastic, or is it, you know, imported stuff, or is it local stuff? Is it vegetables, or is it like meat that's packaged, or is it just packaged food in general, or is it fresh vegetation and stuff like that? And so I think we need to look at that. In our bathroom, you know, are all of our personal care items packaged in plastic? Are they cruelty-free? Are they fair trade? Are they, you know, and at first you might be a little overwhelmed by the amount of things in your house that, you know, aren't the best. But, you know, as long as you're done with them and you get an alternative, it really will become easier. And it's a better feeling knowing that you're not contributing as much to things that aren't as great. And, you know, it's things, everyday things, just like chocolate. Chocolate has quite an effect on the world, especially, I'll include this link to, what was it, Rotten, I think it was called, but it was this Netflix miniseries, and each episode had a commodity, I guess you could say, but a pretty common thing that we eat or use in our everyday lives, or pretty commonly, and we don't know the effects of it. And one of the things that it was talking about was chocolate. And, you know, we don't think about that. We do, oh, do you want a Hershey's Kiss? Okay, sure. You know, but we don't think, is the chocolate local? Is the chocolate fair trade? Is it part of some sustainable forestry initiative? And we don't think about that. And we think, you know, we don't think that maybe it's causing deforestation, or maybe it's harming people's lives, or maybe most of the money that we're paying for this is not going to the people that grew it. Maybe it's going to the big corporations. And so I think we need to look, what are we buying, you know? And really, you know, these things in our everyday life, they won't fix everything. They'll just kind of lower what we're already contributing, and that's a big step. But the main power lies in people who can set regulations. You know, the government can say, you know, stop fracking, or stop these big oil companies from polluting, and they can do these things, but we really have to look into our own lives. We can't tell the government or tell big corporations, stop doing this or implement this, if we're not implementing those very same environmentally saving things in our own lives. We can't really do that. We don't have, you know, we can do that, but it's a little, you know, it's like saying, don't be late, but we're, you know, late ourselves. And so I think we need to look at our own actions first, even though bigger figures in society have more authority than we do, and more influence. So that's just some of the thoughts I had. And, you know, yesterday was Earth Day, so we can't really, we can't really say that we're doing this for Earth Day today, because it was yesterday. But, you know, every day is Earth Day, is a commonly said thing. And it's true, you know, every day should be Earth Day. It should be just one day a year that we pay a little bit of attention to the Earth. It should be every day. You know, when we leave a room, think, wait, maybe I should turn off the light, because the light doesn't need to be on, and that's using electricity. And so it's everyday things. And like I said, look around your house, just take a walk after you watch this video and think, how can that light bulb be changed so that it helps the environment? How can that food be changed so that it can help the environment? How can this? How can that? And I think once we look at that, we can think, wow, like, look at how all these things affect the internet, you know? And just, you know, dental care. Is the mouthwash in a plastic bottle? Is the toothpaste in a tube? Is the, you know, toothbrush made out of plastic? Are we running the water for longer than we need to? So I think we just need to look at our own lives and think, what are things that we can change? And then at the end of the day, once we've done that, you know, contact those bigger companies, email representatives, sign petitions, stuff like that, go out to the streets. But yeah, I think looking into our everyday lives and then communicating with those bigger companies and the government to see what they can do to implement regulations and bans and stuff like that. So thank you for listening to this video. I hope that you've learned some stuff, or it gave you a chance to think about some stuff. Happy Earth Day, even though today is the day after Earth Day, and like I said, every day is Earth Day. I wanted to let you guys know that I'll be starting a weekly newsletter. Nothing big, just once a week I'll be sending out some articles and some videos in an email, and maybe like some petitions you can sign and stuff like that. Just a collection of some of the things that I've received, some of the things that I had looked at, and it just might be one place once a week. You can just look there and, oh, this video that she mentioned looks interesting, or I should sign this petition. You know, it's easy things, but if you would like to sign up for that newsletter, I'll have a link for that below. So again, happy Earth Day, and I hope you can really think about some of the things that you're doing in your everyday life and some of the ways that you can be more active in your community and in this fight for our Earth, our world, because it really sustains us, and it's everything for us. So bye.